The unknown power emerges. In the vast, dark void of space, the alien empire had ruled for centuries, dominating countless worlds and civilizations. Their technology was unmatched, their fleets invincible. They thought themselves untouchable, their power unchallenged. Nothing could stand in their way, until something unknown began to stir. On the alien homeworld, high in the towers of their war command, Supreme General Kale stood in front of a massive holographic map. The glowing lights of the map showed thousands of star systems, each marked with a red dot, indicating the alien empire's reach. For years, the empire had expanded, crushing any resistance they came across. But today, Kale's face was clouded with concern. Reports were flooding in from the outer colonies, and they were all the same. Something new was approaching. It started as a whisper. A strange ship, one that didn't match any of the aliens' known enemies, had been spotted in the farthest regions of space. It was unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. The ship wasn't large in size, but its weapons, they were terrifying. Even from the first distant encounters, the reports indicated that this ship could take out entire fleets with ease. It was the kind of power the Empire had never seen, and they feared it. But the aliens were not known for fear. They were known for their strength. Kale dismissed the reports as exaggerated. "It's just another human ship," he muttered. Humanity, after all, had always been a thorn in their side. Small in number, weak in comparison to the aliens' vast forces, and yet they persisted. The humans had fought bravely, but in the end, they had always fallen. This new ship would be no different. But then things started to change. In the middle of a vast, open space, far from any known human colonies, the unknown ship began to move toward the alien borders. The alien scouts, who were the first to observe its approach, were quick to send a warning. But it was too late. The ship had already attacked, and it was unlike any attack the aliens had ever seen. The ship, which had been merely a distant blip on the radar, unleashed its first assault on a nearby alien colony. The alien defense systems, which had been designed to repel the most advanced weapons in the galaxy, were powerless against this new foe. The ship's weapons, precise, destructive, and overwhelming, cut through the alien shields like they were paper. The colony, once a thriving hub of alien life, was now a shattered ruin. Alien soldiers, who had once fought with confidence, were suddenly filled with panic. The assault was not a single battle, it was a message. The unknown ship wasn't just attacking for resources, it was sending a clear warning. The humans were no longer the weak, vulnerable species they had once been. This ship, this new force, was something far more dangerous. And it was just the beginning. On the alien homeworld, the news spread quickly. In the War Command Center, the once cocky officers were now uncertain. They called for immediate updates from their spies and scouts. As they waited, they could hear the buzz of activity around them. The aliens, who had never feared a human before, now felt that sense of dread creeping into their bones. Something had changed. The leader of the Alien Council, Supreme Leader Draxon, stood in front of the holographic display, his eyes narrowing as he watched the reports flood in. The humans had always been resilient, but this was different. He had seen the power of the human military before, but he had never seen anything like this. The way the Hurricane-class battleship had destroyed an entire colony with ease was unlike anything he had ever imagined. "What are we dealing with?" Draxon growled, his voice sharp and low. One of his commanders, trembling, stepped forward. "It's a new class of battleship, sir. The humans. They've been building it in secret." Draxon frowned. "What kind of ship is this? What are they capable of?" The commander swallowed nervously. "It's called the Hurricane class. We don't know the full extent of its capabilities yet, but it's unlike anything we've seen. It's capable of taking down entire fleets, and its weapons are far more powerful than anything the humans have ever used before." Draxon's eyes flickered with concern. How did they get the technology to build something like this? The commander hesitated, looking at the ground. It's rumored they've been scavenging alien wreckage for years, taking advanced technology and learning from it. They've adapted it, turned it into something we couldn't even begin to understand. Traxon's anger flared. These humans, how dare they challenge us? We've conquered entire galaxies, and now they think they can stand against us. Sir, we don't fully understand their capabilities yet, the commander said, his voice trembling. We need to respond carefully. Traxon slammed his fist on the table. No, we will respond with force. If the humans think they can challenge the might of the Empire, they are gravely mistaken. Send every fleet we have. We will crush them and make an example of this hurricane class. The room fell silent as Traxon's words echoed in the air. The aliens had always been a force to be reckoned with, but now, for the first time in centuries, they were facing a new enemy, one that might just be stronger than they had imagined. As the alien fleets mobilized, the humans on board the Hurricane-class battleship prepared for what was to come. The storm had already begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The calm before the storm. On board the Hurricane-class battleship, Captain Olivia Turner stood at the helm, gazing out into the endless void of space. Her expression was calm, but inside, she was fully aware of the storm that was about to erupt. This was no ordinary mission. This was the first real test of humanity's new weapon, a ship unlike anything the aliens had seen before. The Hurricane class had been designed in secret, and only a few high-ranking officials in the human military knew its true potential. Turner herself had been chosen for this mission because of her skill and her ability to stay calm under pressure. As she walked through the ship's narrow halls, the crew of the Hurricane class was busy preparing for the mission ahead. The ship's design was unlike anything the humans had ever built. It was massive, powerful, and equipped with weapons and technology taken from the wreckage of alien ships. Humanity had learned from their enemies, adapting their technology and strategies to create something that could challenge even the most powerful alien forces. This ship was the result of years of research, hidden away in the deepest parts of human space stations. Now it was ready for war. As Captain Turner reached the bridge, she took her seat in front of a massive holographic display. The ship's AI, known as Titan, flickered to life on the screen. The ship's eye was advanced, capable of making real-time tactical decisions and guiding the crew through complex combat scenarios. Turner's eyes flickered across the display, showing the alien world they were approaching. The alien empire had built its power on this world, and it was here that they would make their stand. Captain, Titan's voice echoed through the command center, its tone neutral but efficient. We are within range of the alien fleet. They have not yet detected us. Turner nodded, keeping her focus on the task at hand. Good. Let's keep it that way for now. We don't want them to know we're here until we're ready to strike. Her crew moved swiftly and silently, working in unison to ensure every system on the ship was prepared for the impending battle. Turner's hands hovered over the controls, ready to give the orders as soon as they were in position. But beneath the surface, there was tension. The human military had never faced an enemy like the alien empire. The alien forces were vast, with fleets that could obliterate entire worlds. They had the experience of millennia of warfare. This was humanity's first real test, one that would decide if they could truly stand against the might of the galaxy's most powerful empire. Turner's mind raced as she thought of the lives that hung in the balance. It wasn't just about winning this battle. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity was no longer a weak species to be dismissed. They had fought hard to reach this point, and now they had to prove that they were ready for whatever the aliens could throw at them. Prepare all systems for battle readiness, Turner ordered, her voice steady but firm. I want every weapon online, every shield at full power, and make sure the crew is ready to move out when we give the signal. Her officers moved quickly, checking the systems and ensuring that everything was in place. The ship's weapons were some of the most advanced humanity had ever created. They had been specifically designed to pierce alien shields and tear through their defenses. The Hurricane class wasn't just another battleship. It was a symbol of human resilience and innovation. Outside, the alien world loomed closer. The alien fleets, massive and powerful, could be seen in the distance. They were unaware of the approaching threat, believing that their superior forces would be more than enough to crush any human ship that dared to challenge them. They were wrong. As the Hurricane class moved into position, Captain Turner's voice broke the silence once more. All hands, prepare for the first strike. The crew moved with precision, knowing that this moment would determine everything. There was no turning back now. The human forces had come to fight, and they would do whatever it took to prove that the aliens were no longer the only ones in control. Turner took a deep breath, her eyes narrowing as she stared at the alien fleet. This would be the beginning of something new, something the galaxy would never forget. The humans were coming for their place among the stars, and the aliens would soon learn that humanity had the power to take what was theirs. Fire when ready, Turner commanded. In that moment, the calm before the storm shattered. The Hurricane-class battleship unleashed its first wave of firepower, a deafening roar that echoed through the depths of space. The storm had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The first strike. The moment Captain Olivia Turner gave the command, the Hurricane-class battleship sprang to life. From every corner of the massive ship, weapons systems activated, and the engines hummed with power. The vastness of space stretched out before them as the ship, like a giant predator in the darkness, prepared to unleash its fury. The first wave of firepower was nothing short of devastating. As the ship's cannons powered up, the crew felt a low vibration beneath their feet. The massive weapons on the Hurricane class were built to destroy, to wipe out anything that stood in their way. Captain Turner, steady at the helm, watched as the first shots left the ship's barrels, streaking through space in blinding flashes of energy. The alien fleet, still unaware of the incoming threat, suddenly erupted in chaos. The shockwave of the first barrage hit their ships like a hammer striking glass. The alien ships, some of them several times the size of the Hurricane class, were thrown off course by the unexpected assault. Their shields, though strong, were not prepared for the sheer power of the human weaponry. The Hurricane class had been built specifically to counter the alien defenses, and the aliens had no idea just how advanced humanity's technology had become. The first alien ship, a massive war cruiser, was the first to fall. It took only seconds for the Hurricane class to tear through its defenses, and in a flash of light, the ship was destroyed. The alien crew aboard had no time to react, no time to prepare. The devastation was swift, and the message was clear. The humans had arrived. Target locked. Titan, a ship's AI, announced calmly. Next target in range. Captain Turner's eyes narrowed as she observed the alien fleet, now reeling from the first blow. The aliens had never faced anything like this. Their largest warships, the pride of their fleet, were now under attack, their defenses crumbling before the onslaught of human firepower. The aliens, who had once ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, were beginning to understand just how outmatched they were. The Hurricane class wasn't just any battleship. It was a weapon designed for one purpose: to annihilate. The alien ships that had once seemed invincible were now being picked apart, one by one. The alien commanders, receiving the initial reports from their ships, were filled with disbelief. How could this be? How could a human vessel be this powerful? On board the Hurricane class, the crew moved with precision, their every action calculated and efficient. They had trained for this moment for years, and now it was paying off. The ship's weapons, designed to punch through even the strongest alien shields, were proving to be more than a match for the enemy. "Captain," a voice called out from the tactical console, "we've disabled their main defense fleet. They're trying to regroup, but they're losing ground fast." Turner nodded, her expression stoic. "Keep the pressure on. Don't give them a chance to recover." As the battle raged on, the aliens scrambled to respond. They sent in their fastest ships, hoping to flank the Hurricane class and find a weakness in its defenses. But the Hurricane class was built for this kind of fight. Its advanced shielding systems absorbed the alien fire with ease, while the crew returned fire with deadly accuracy. Each shot from the Hurricane class seemed to carry the weight of humanity's hopes and fears. The human fleet, though small compared to the vast alien armada, fought with unmatched determination. They knew that this battle wasn't just about victory, it was about sending a message. The aliens had always underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. In the heat of the battle, Captain Turner's voice cut through the chaos. "Target their command ship. We need to cripple their leadership." The ship's AI responded immediately, locking onto the alien command ship, a massive, imposing vessel that had served as the heart of the alien fleet. With a single precise shot, the Hurricane class fired its most powerful weapon, a concentrated beam of energy that pierced through the alien ship's shields and blasted into its core. The alien command ship, the pride of their fleet, erupted in a massive explosion, sending shockwaves through space. The alien fleet, already shaken by the loss of several ships, now found itself in disarray. The command ship had been their central point of control, and without it, the remaining alien forces were left directionless, panicked. On the alien homeworld, Supreme General Kale watched in horror as the reports flooded in. His empire, once the most powerful in the galaxy, was crumbling before the might of a single human battleship. The shock of the first strike had been enough to destabilize their forces, but now, with the command ship destroyed, the very foundation of their military was beginning to fall apart. "Send reinforcements immediately," Kale ordered, his voice full of urgency. "We cannot lose this battle." But the damage was done. The Hurricane class had already shown the galaxy that humanity was no longer the weak, fragmented species it had once been. The aliens were terrified, and they knew that no matter how many ships they sent, they could never hope to match the might of this new human force. As the battle continued, the aliens' resolve began to crumble. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The Hurricane class continued its assault, tearing through the remaining alien fleet with ruthless efficiency. The aliens, once confident in their superiority, were now facing the harsh reality. They had made a terrible mistake. Captain Turner stood tall on the bridge, watching as the alien fleet slowly began to retreat. Her crew had done their job, and humanity had proven its strength. The battle was not yet won, but the message had been sent. The aliens would never forget this day. The first strike of the Hurricane class had changed everything. Alien retaliation. The alien fleet was reeling from the devastating strike by the Hurricane class. Their massive warships had fallen one by one, their command structure shattered, and their crews left scrambling in panic. The unexpected power of the human battleship had left them scrambling for answers, and now they had no choice but to retaliate with everything they had. Supreme General Kale stood in his command center, his fists clenched tightly. His normally calm demeanor had been replaced with rage. The humans had thrown his carefully calculated plans into disarray. He could not allow this to continue. "We must retaliate with full force," Kale declared, his voice low and dangerous. "We will show them the true power of the alien empire." He turned to his fleet's officers, each one standing at attention. "Launch the full armada. Bring every ship we have. We will not be made fools of by these humans." The command was given, and alien warships, some of the largest in their fleet, began to speed toward the location of the Hurricane class. Their weapons were heavy, capable of crushing entire planets with a single blast. Yet, despite their overwhelming power, Kale knew the Hurricane class was no ordinary enemy. It had already torn through their defenses, and it was about to face the full wrath of the alien military. Back on the Hurricane class, Captain Olivia Turner watched the alien forces regrouping on her ship's screens. They were sending everything they had, an overwhelming force that seemed impossible to stop. But she was ready. She had expected this. Captain Titan, the ship's AI, Warned, a large-scale alien fleet is inbound. Their numbers are significantly greater than before. Turner remained calm. Prepare our defenses. We will hold the line. All weapons, ready. The ship's crew moved with military precision. The Hurricane class was designed to take on superior forces, but even Turner understood that a direct confrontation with such a massive fleet would push their limits. But there was no turning back now. The battle for humanity's future had already begun, and there was no retreat. All hands, brace for impact. Turner ordered as the first wave of alien warships entered the battle zone. They were coming in fast, their massive guns powering up, preparing to unleash a devastating barrage. The first shots from the alien fleet rained down like a storm of destruction. The Hurricane class shook with the impact, the force of the blast sending tremors through the ship's hull. The energy shields flickered as they absorbed the alien blasts, but Turner knew their defenses wouldn't hold forever. Shields holding at 75%, reported the chief engineer. We'll need to take them down fast before they wear us out. Understood, Turner replied, her voice steady. Target their lead ships. We need to disrupt their attack coordination. The Hurricane class returned fire, its advanced weaponry lashing out with deadly precision. Each shot that left the ship was more than just a weapon. It was a statement. Humanity was here, and they would not be defeated. But even with all their power, the odds were starting to feel overwhelming. The alien ships seemed endless, a constant stream of enemy forces pouring in from every direction. Alien vessels, with their jagged designs and intimidating weaponry, closed in on the Hurricane class, hoping to surround and overwhelm the human ship. The alien commanders, though shaken by their previous losses, were determined to crush the humans once and for all. They had learned quickly that humanity was not to be underestimated. Captain, the tactical officer called out, we've detected a massive fleet coming from the alien capital. This is their final attempt to break through. Turner's heart raced as she looked at the display. The alien reinforcements were coming in fast, and their strength was immense. They had brought everything to bear against the Hurricane class, and this time, they were not holding back. If they couldn't stop this wave, they would be overwhelmed. But Turner was determined to fight to the very end. We cannot afford to let them reach us, Turner said, her voice cutting through the chaos of the bridge. Give them everything we've got. The Hurricane class unleashed its full arsenal. Massive laser beams cut through the alien ships, sending them careening off course. Explosions filled the void of space, each blast sending ripples of destruction throughout the battlefield. The ship's secondary weapons fired relentlessly, targeting any alien vessel that came within range. For a moment, it seemed as though the alien fleet might retreat, but then the unthinkable happened. The alien commanders, in a final desperate move, launched their secret weapon. A massive, nearly indestructible warship, the Vanguard, was sent into battle, its weapons capable of destroying entire fleets in a single blow. This ship was the heart of the alien military, a weapon of mass destruction meant to crush anything in its path. The Vanguard's guns powered up, and in an instant, it fired a massive blast directly at the Hurricane class. The beam was so powerful that it lit up the surrounding space, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The Hurricane class shook violently as the blast hit its shields, the force nearly throwing the crew off their feet. Shields at 40%, the engineer shouted, panic in his voice. We're holding, but not for long, Turner replied, her gaze fixed on the alien warship. She knew they needed to destroy the Vanguard, or they would lose everything. But how could they overcome such a powerful weapon? Her mind raced as the tactical officers searched for an opening. We need to get in close, Turner said, determination in her eyes. Prepare the close-range torpedoes. We're going to take that ship down. With the Vanguard closing in, the Hurricane class moved into position, its weapons locked and ready. The battle for survival was reaching its climax. The fate of humanity's fight against the alien empire rested on the next few moments. Secrets of the Hurricane class. The battle continued to rage around the Hurricane class as it stood firm against the full might of the alien fleet. The tension in the command center was palpable. Alien ships, each one bristling with weapons of unimaginable power, circled like predators around their prey. Despite the odds, Captain Olivia Turner remained focused, her eyes trained on the massive alien warship, the Vanguard. The Vanguard had already fired its deadly weapon, nearly overwhelming the Hurricane-class's shields, but the human ship had managed to stay afloat. The next few moments would determine the course of the battle. If the Vanguard's attack didn't break through, humanity had a chance to turn the tide. "Captain," Titan's voice echoed calmly through the bridge. "The Vanguard is recharging its main cannon. It will fire again in 30 seconds. Turner's eyes narrowed. 30 seconds wasn't much time. The Vanguard's next blast could cripple the Hurricane class and, by extension, the hopes of all humanity. But Captain Turner had a plan, and it involved a secret weapon. The very thing the aliens didn't understand about the Hurricane class. "Prepare the secondary torpedoes," Turner commanded. "Target the Vanguard's main reactor. We're going to hit them where they least expect." The crew moved with precision, every officer and technician performing their duty with the quiet professionalism that came with months of preparation. But even as they worked, Turner couldn't help but think about the technology that had brought them here. The Hurricane class wasn't just another military vessel. It was the culmination of humanity's ability to adapt, learn, and innovate. While humanity had always been at a disadvantage in technology compared to the alien empire, the Hurricane class had been built using the very thing the aliens had taken for granted: their own technology. Over the years, human engineers had scored wreckages of alien ships, salvaging pieces of advanced tech that the Empire had once considered beyond humanity's grasp. The result was a battleship that combined the most advanced weapons and defensive systems ever created, both human and alien in origin. What the aliens didn't know was that the Hurricane class had adapted alien technology in ways they never could have imagined. Some of the most powerful components had been hidden beneath the surface, integrated into the ship's systems without the aliens ever knowing. The Hurricane class wasn't just a human-made weapon. It was a fusion of both civilization's knowledge and strength. On the surface, the Hurricane class looked like any other battleship, but its core systems were something entirely new. The ship's energy shields, able to absorb the heaviest of alien fire, were built with alien tech scavenged from a long-forgotten battle. Its weapons, more precise and deadly than anything humanity had used before, had been adapted from the same alien technology, then enhanced with human ingenuity. Even the ship's AI, Titan, was partly based on reverse-engineered alien systems, providing the crew with unparalleled tactical support. Turner stood still, her heart racing, as she looked out at the advancing Vanguard. She knew that the ship's power would not only rely on its weapons, but also on the element of surprise. The aliens were confident in their technology, but they were unaware that the Hurricane class had more hidden under its armored hull than they could possibly imagine. "Ready the secondary torpedoes," she ordered again, her voice steady. "Focus all fire on the Vanguard's reactor." As the crew activated the weapons systems, the tension on the bridge was almost unbearable. Captain Turner's fingers hovered over the controls. She could feel the weight of the moment. This was their chance. If they didn't take down the Vanguard now, the ship would be destroyed, and the battle would be lost. "Captain, the Vanguard has locked onto our position," the tactical officer called out. "They are preparing to fire." Turner's mind raced. The seconds seemed to stretch on forever. The Vanguard's massive cannon powered up, glowing with deadly energy. But just as the cannon was about to fire, Turner's voice rang out. "Fire!" The secondary torpedoes shot out of the Hurricane class with blinding speed. They cut through space, their trajectory set directly for the Vanguard's exposed reactor core. The alien ship shields, still struggling to deal with the Hurricane class's initial assault, had no chance of stopping the human torpedoes. The Vanguard fired its main cannon a split second too late. The energy blast missed the Hurricane class, as the torpedoes slammed into the reactor with pinpoint accuracy. There was a blinding explosion. The Vanguard's entire structure shuddered violently as the core was breached. Flames and energy bursts erupted from the alien warship as it began to break apart. The alien fleet, once confident in their invincible flagship, now watched in horror as their most powerful ship disintegrated before their eyes. The explosion sent shockwaves through the battlefield, causing nearby ships to veer off course to avoid the debris. The Hurricane class, though battered and bruised, had delivered a crushing blow to the alien empire. "Target destroyed, Captain," Titan reported. "The Vanguard is no longer a threat." For a moment, silence fell across the bridge. The crew stared at the visual screens in awe, watching the remains of the Vanguard drift into space. Captain Turner allowed herself a small breath of relief, but she knew that this victory was far from over. The alien fleet was still vast, and they would not give up easily. But for now, humanity had gained the upper hand. The aliens, who had once considered themselves the rulers of the galaxy, now faced a new and terrifying reality. Humans were no longer the underdogs. The tide of the war had shifted, and the Hurricane class had just made it clear that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The turning point. With the Vanguard destroyed in a spectacular explosion, the alien fleet was thrown into disarray. The once proud armada of the alien empire, a symbol of their unchallenged power, had lost its most formidable ship. The atmosphere on the Hurricane class was tense, but there was no time to celebrate. Captain Turner knew this was the turning point, but the battle was far from over. "Captain, the alien fleet is retreating," reported the tactical officer, his voice steady but tinged with disbelief. "Their ships are scattering, trying to regroup. They're sending in reinforcements from the alien capital." Turner's gaze hardened. "Don't let up. They may be regrouping, but they're not done yet. We can't afford to let them catch their breath." As the crew continued their battle stations, Turner's mind raced. She knew the aliens would not take this loss lightly. The destruction of their flagship, the Vanguard, would fuel their anger, and they would throw everything they had left into this battle. The next wave would be their final, desperate attempt to turn the tide. On the alien homeworld, Supreme General Kell's fury could be felt across the galaxy. The loss of the Vanguard had been catastrophic, but he had not given up. His pride, as well as the fate of his empire, hung in the balance. "Send everything we have left," Kell ordered, his voice seething with rage. "Prepare the last offensive. We will crush them once and for all." The alien fleet mobilized quickly, gathering the remaining ships at the heart of the galaxy. But as they closed in on the Hurricane class, Kell's forces were blind to the trap that humanity had been setting up all along. Back on the Hurricane class, Turner stood in front of the massive holographic display, her fingers lightly grazing the controls. "Titan, how long until the alien reinforcements arrive?" "Approximately 15 minutes, Captain," Titan responded. "They are approaching fast. However, I have analyzed their fleet formation. I suggest we ambush them before they can get into position." Turner's lips curled into a slight smile. "Good. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine." The crew moved into action, their movements precise and practiced. The Hurricane class wasn't just about brute force, it was about tactics. With its superior maneuverability, hidden weapons, and the element of surprise, it had the upper hand. But Turner knew that ambushing the alien reinforcements would be a risky move. If the trap failed, they would be facing the full brunt of the alien fleet, and humanity's chance at victory would be lost. "All systems online. Weapons are ready," reported the chief engineer. "Perfect," Turner replied. "We strike in 10 seconds." The Hurricane class moved silently through the void, positioning itself just outside the path of the oncoming alien fleet. The reinforcements, unaware of the human ship's new location, were headed straight into the trap. Locking onto their lead ships, Titan announced. "All targets identified." As the alien ships entered the trap, Turner's eyes remained fixed on the display. "Fire," A blinding barrage of energy exploded from the Hurricane-class's weapons, tearing through the approaching alien fleet. The first wave of firepower caught the alien ships off guard, their shields failing under the relentless barrage. Several of the alien ships were obliterated in the first few moments, their hulks drifting into space. The alien forces were in chaos. They had been lured into the ambush without realizing it, and now they were struggling to regain control. Turner's strategy had worked. Just as the reinforcements had been closing in, the Hurricane class had unleashed everything in one decisive strike. "Captain, their fleet is in disarray. We have them now," the tactical officer reported, his voice filled with excitement. Turner nodded. "Stay focused. We finish this now." The Hurricane class surged forward, engaging the remaining alien ships with unparalleled precision. The tide of the battle had shifted irreversibly. The aliens, unable to regroup after the devastating ambush, were falling apart. Even their once proud flagship had been destroyed, and now the rest of the fleet was struggling to keep up. The alien forces tried to regroup, sending out desperate signals to retreat, but it was too late. The Hurricane class had them cornered. With its powerful weapons and superior tactics, it picked off the remaining alien ships one by one. The alien military, once the most feared in the galaxy, had been reduced to chaos and confusion. On the alien homeworld, Kel watched helplessly as his fleet was dismantled in real time. His empire was crumbling, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. "Pull back. Pull back immediately," Kel screamed into the comms, his voice filled with panic. "We are retreating. Send every ship back to the capital. Regroup and prepare for the next phase." But as the alien fleet tried to retreat, it was too late. The Hurricane class, moving with unmatched efficiency, closed in on the alien capital ships, finishing what it had started. "Final ship neutralized," Captain Titan reported. "The alien fleet is in full retreat." For a moment, there was silence on the bridge as the crew absorbed the weight of what had just happened. They had done it. The alien fleet had been crushed, and humanity's victory was almost complete. "Good work, everyone," Turner said, her voice calm, though her mind was already turning toward the next phase of the war. The Hurricane class had won this battle, but there was still more to do. The alien empire may have been shaken, but their desire for domination would not end so easily. "This is just the beginning," Turner added, staring out at the remnants of the alien fleet drifting through space. "We've proven ourselves today, but we still have a long fight ahead of us." The crew nodded, knowing the battle was far from over. But for the first time, humanity had shown the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. The storm had come, and it had only just begun. The aftermath. The dust of battle slowly began to settle in the vast expanse of space. The remnants of the alien fleet drifted like broken shards of a shattered empire. The once mighty warships, now floating lifeless, were reminders of the devastation humanity had just unleashed upon the alien forces. The battle for the galaxy had shifted dramatically, and it was clear that the alien empire, long considered unstoppable, had met its match in the Hurricane class. Captain Olivia Turner stood on the bridge of the Hurricane class, her gaze fixed on the shattered remnants of the alien fleet. The battle had been hard-fought, but humanity had emerged victorious, at least for now. Yet, as she surveyed the damage, her thoughts remained focused on what lay ahead. "Report," Turner said, her voice steady despite the relief that she knew was deserved. "All systems are functioning, Captain," the chief engineer responded, his voice filled with exhaustion but relief. "We've sustained some damage, but nothing critical. The ship is still operational." "Good," Turner replied, her eyes scanning the command center. "What about the crew?" "Morale is high," the tactical officer reported. "The crew is ready for whatever comes next. We've secured victory here, but the war isn't over. We still have to press on." Turner nodded, her mind already on the next phase. Despite the success of the battle, She knew this victory was only a single step in a much larger war. The alien empire would not back down quietly. They would regroup, rebuild, and prepare for another assault. And humanity would need to be ready. "Captain," Titan's voice interrupted, its calm tone cutting through the tension. "We have received communication from the alien capital. They are requesting terms of surrender." The room went silent as everyone processed the information. The idea that the alien empire, who had once dominated the galaxy with an iron grip, was now asking for surrender was almost unbelievable. But in the wake of their crushing defeat, it seemed that the reality of humanity's power had become undeniable. Turner's gaze hardened. "Prepare to transmit a response. We will not accept surrender without terms that guarantee humanity's future." The alien capital's plea for peace had come at a cost. The hurricane of destruction humanity had unleashed upon their forces had forced them to acknowledge that their empire was no longer invincible. They had underestimated humanity's will to survive and adapt. "We should be cautious, Captain," the political officer advised. "The aliens are cunning. They may be trying to buy time to rebuild their forces. We must ensure they don't use this pause to gather strength." Turner thought for a moment, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. The aliens had been ruthless, and they would never simply forgive and forget. But she also knew that if they truly wanted peace, humanity needed to set clear boundaries. "We'll give them a chance to surrender, but on our terms," Turner replied. "We take their fleet and their technology. They must agree to stop their expansion, and we will ensure the safety of our people and future generations." The room murmured in agreement. The terms were harsh, but fair. Humanity had paid the price for peace. Now it was time to ensure it stayed that way. As the terms were transmitted to the alien capital, Turner took a deep breath. There was no going back now. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, and the alien empire would have to learn that their reign of fear and destruction was over. The communication from the alien capital arrived just a few hours later. Their leader, Supreme General Kale, had no choice but to agree to the terms. The alien empire, battered and broken, had no choice but to recognize humanity's rise. The new order was set. The once feared empire would be forced to cede control over vast regions of space and leave humanity to grow and thrive. In exchange, they would be allowed to retain their homeworld, but the rest of their empire would fall under human control. The terms were clear. Humanity would rebuild, protect, and expand. The war was not truly over, but the aliens would no longer be able to wage the same kind of terror they once did. Humanity had finally proven its strength. The galaxy would not be the same again. In the quiet aftermath, Turner stood alone on the bridge, staring out into the stars. The battle was over, but the war was far from done. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy, and now it was time to build a new future. The storm had arrived, and the universe would never forget the name of the Hurricane-class battleship.